understand it, teach others, and they actually also get better.
All right, so one final question, and just note that Dr. Steve has used up his quota for questions.
Yeah, thank you very much. And unfortunately, I was going to direct it at Dr. Steve. Okay, so I think we've spoken quite a bit about human resources, but I want to speak more about the industry. A key disruptor in the oil and gas industry right now is the evacuation with the pipelines that have been, broken up or vandalized. So we have a lot of oil companies that have a lot of their production being constrained. So from an industry standpoint, what is Seplat and also Total doing, to manage this situation, so that their production, and the ability to sell crude oil isn't reduced, and also a lot of companies have gone towards the route of barging, right? We have crude oil prices that might be falling, right? So it might not be economical if we don't get our pipelines up, So how is this disruption being managed, in your respective companies? Thank you.
How about the answer, actually? We don't have the answer, really. It's a difficult terrain for us. There are all sorts of models we try to put in place. Essentially, one of my friends was asking me, how are we doing it in Shell and doing it in Seplat? And I just made the point that we are an indigenous company, perhaps we are closer to the ground. So it's a whole partnership to understand what is causing it. There are all sorts of reasons. This is a public forum, but there are all sorts of reasons in terms of what is causing it. And just understanding that helps you a lot. Helping with managing the different stakeholders involved end to end, from the communities to security, the interface with security, the interface with government. And what is interesting is that these people who might commit some of this see us at where the government they see. So if they hold you, hopefully government will come. So you see, I think Owen was making that point around being local governments and all that. So organizations end up being local governments somehow too. So it's very complex. But I think when you think about what government is doing to raise production level in Nigeria, it takes into consideration some of these factors. And I hope we can all address it. So the insecurity in the country, all sorts, is a multifaceted challenge. But what is important is that the players, whether it's the international, the IOCs or the indigenous companies, will understand it. And it's to be able to attack it from our own realities. Because at the end of the day, all of us want to produce and have employment for people who work for us and be able to make money for the country as well.
If I can just add to that, it's about also engaging your stakeholders. Days gone by when, in the 70s and 80s, all companies will just go to the community, they'll dig their wells and say, okay, we'll give them a school, or we'll build classrooms. But very quickly, yes, you've built something in the environment, but it's not impacting. So after a while, we said, okay, what do we do now? Let's ask them what they want. So we asked them, what do you want? They said, oh, we want a town hall where we can meet and things and things. So we said, okay, we'll give them a town hall. And then we discovered that they were using those town halls to strategize on how to attack us. Our facilities are unprotected. Some people are vandalizing the pipes because that's where the gold is, the black gold. And so we said, okay, this family, that family, this from here to there is running through your land. Protect it. Make sure nothing happens from there to there. We will send your children to school. If nothing happens to that pipeline, we give them incentives to make sure that nothing happens to that portion of pipe. So that worked because then they saw that we were bringing something to them. They didn't need to take the gold, the crude, because we were giving them the equivalent in sustainable development. But nowadays, I mean, there are so many things that are, like he said, there are so many factors that are impeding the transportation or evacuation of crude oil all the way to the terminals, exactly. There's a lot more water in the pipes. The pipes are eroded. Some of them need to be changed, and some of them are being changed. But a lot of them have eroded. There's water, there's mud. So what ends up getting to the terminal is so convoluted that we now have to start a whole new process of being able to separate the oil from the water, from the sand and everything. And so what eventually goes out is limited. But the oil companies, we do not compromise on integrity of the pipes. So if the pipes are really bad, we will shut down that facility. We'll shut down that section of the pipeline. Integrity and safety for the environment is key.
Thank you very much. You have indeed done very well. You have done very well. And we're going to prove that right about. We would like to invite the chairman of this amazing planning committee of the award-winning class, MBA28. Okay. Or Hunter to come and give this class.
Okay, it's not the chairman. Thank you so much. So, just to sincerely thank the panelists and the moderator for this great and insightful session. I want to invite Mrs. Oluwatoyin Mesa to please come forward. Please come forward. So Toyin is going to join me in presenting this plaque to the panelists and the moderator. So, Tony, please, to Bolaho, I know, for powerfully steering this panel session. Thank you very much. And to Mrs. Tai Sinshaya, thank you so much for obliging us your presence and for insightful session. And my own Dr. Steve Oje. Thank you so much, Dr. Steve. And last but not least, Mrs. Toyin Abiola Salami. So I would like to invite the governor of the class, the chairperson, to please come forward for a group photograph. Toyin, please. No. And John, please. And all the members of the planning committee, please come forward.
Wow, thank you very much. Yes. He who has shall be given more. To those who have plaques shall be given gifts. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we move right about now to the second panel session. If you're ready, then know that we are ready. I shall be unveiling the moderator of this panel. You can tell who the moderator is. When we are talking about entrepreneurship. The one who has entrepreneurship in her DNA. Yes. Sit back as we release the parts.
Dr. Henrietta Onwebuzie is an associate professor of entrepreneurship at Lagos Business School and a certified management consultant. With a strong focus on economic development and socio-economic transformation across Nigeria and Africa, she has facilitated the creation of over 100 profitable, impact-driven businesses. Dr. Henrietta leads the entrepreneurship sessions on the MBA and executive programs at the Lagos Business School. She currently serves as the Director of Business Innovation Accelerator and Project Director for the Impact Investing Initiative. She was recently conferred the Executive Award in Entrepreneurship and Impact Investing and appointed a Distinguished Fellow of the Global Africa Leadership Council. Dr. Henrietta is one of the first African visiting faculty at Yale School of Management in the United States and has been speaking at top business schools like Stellenbosch Business School in South Africa, Oxford Saïd Business School in the United Kingdom, INSEAD in France, and ENSE Business School in Spain. She has an MSc with honors in economics and business administration from the University of Navarre, an MBA from Lagos Business School, and a PhD in management and entrepreneurship from Lancaster University. She is a life member of Beta Gamma Sigma, which admits only top performance in the top 5% of schools worldwide. In 2013, she was conferred the African Women Development Champion Award by the Center of Economic and Leadership Development. In the same year, she was appointed one of the national mentors for the UWIN Entrepreneurship Program, driven by the Office of the President. She has presented award-winning research on various platforms. Her mentorship work emphasizes women's leadership and wealth creation as she continues to inspire and guide emerging entrepreneurs across Africa and beyond. Join me with a round of applause in welcoming Dr. Henrietta Onwebuzie, the panel moderator, to the session.
She's doing well and doing good. Next on my list is
Charles Emembolu is the MD CEO of Crescent Limited. He is an accomplished information technology architect and the co-founder of Raw Nigeria Hub, Nigeria's first university embedded tech incubator. Over the past decade, Charles has founded and supported several tech-focused initiatives like TechQuest STEM Academy, impacting over 50,000 young Nigerians with business and digital literacy skills. Charles has led numerous local and international collaborative projects and is an active member of several professional bodies, including the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Project Management Institute, Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, National Assembly Business Environment Roundtable, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, and the Digital Economy Industry Thematic Group, amongst others. He is an alumnus with a resounding round of applause. Join me in welcoming Engineer Charles Emembolu.
As if that's not enough, we have some more. Sit back.
Mr. Edwin Ike Anyadigibe is the Group CEO of VUCA Production Support Services Limited. He is an accomplished entrepreneur and visionary leader with extensive experience in the oil and gas, energy, engineering, and logistics sectors. He founded VUCA, a company renowned for providing innovative energy and project financing solutions to the oil and gas industry. In 2009, Mr. Ayadigibe founded Upstream Development Company, an EPCI firm that has successfully executed engineering projects for exploration and production companies. He is also the founder of Equal Logistics Group, a leading logistics company that manages tanker vessels, bulk carriers, and offshore support vessels with a workforce of over 1,100 skilled Nigerians. Through his enterprises, Mr. Ayadigibe has consistently driven value creation, operational excellence, and sustainable impact across key industries. Join me with a resounding round of applause in welcoming Edwin Ayadigibe to the panel session.
Yes. We're not done yet.
Veteran is the co-founder and CEO of Zone Network Limited and a seasoned tech entrepreneur with a dedicated focus on Africa's fintech landscape. His journey in the entrepreneurial world began shortly after college in 2004 when he co-founded Parkway Projects. Under his leadership, Parkway Projects provided tailored fintech solutions for commercial banks in Nigeria, achieving revenues exceeding $1 million before he transitioned to his next venture. In 2008, Obi co-founded AppZone, where he led the creation of several pioneering startups, including Africa's first banking SaaS platform, bespoke fintech software, and innovative card management systems. A notable achievement during this period was the launch of Africa's first regulated blockchain network, designed to facilitate payments in fiat and regulated digital currencies. In 2022, AppZone evolved to become Zone, a global payment infrastructure company that enables financial services providers to process payments and accept digital currencies through its regulated blockchain network. Obi and his team at Zone are committed to their mission of connecting all forms of monetary value through blockchain technology. Their approach emphasizes regulatory compliance, interoperability with existing financial structures, and user-friendly interfaces aimed at driving the adoption of digital currencies and decentralized finance solutions across Africa. With a round of applause, join me in welcoming Obi and Metaron to the
Yes. Keep it rolling. Yes, that's it. Power pack panel. Yes. And the final one, no vacancy.
So good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be here. It's always exciting to be among entrepreneurs. As I read through the profile, I was thinking, oh great, I was looking for entrepreneurs to invite to class, because I have 3 here to bring to class. But I think that the key thing here, as those of most of you have been in the LBS, and you know that the first thing we try to do in class is to distinguish between business owners and entrepreneurs. Those words are not synonyms, they mean something significantly different. And that difference lies in the fact that entrepreneurs are solution providers, business owners business owners focus on just making money, perhaps just buying and selling. And you find that entrepreneurs end up making much more money than the business owners because since they're providing solutions, people are willing to pay for things that will meet their pain points, and therefore, they have people who are ready to buy what they produce. So it's very exciting today to talk with this amazing panel. The first thing we have established is the fact that perspective matters. So most of the time when we hear VUCA, we all get terrified. Okay, everything is changing so fast. But then we've been able to see here, right from when Owen spoke and the previous panel, that problems are actually opportunities to discover solutions. Okay, so now we have electric cars in Nigeria suddenly. Maybe we wouldn't have had them if we didn't have fuel being so expensive. Okay, so let's go to the panel and hear from them. These are panelists from different industries, and I think I will start with the person closest to me. So maybe you want to just tell us, each of all of you, in 2 minutes, what VUCA means for you and your companies.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charles Simon Bolu. And for me, in the businesses that I participate in and the networks that I support, VUCA is a way of life. It exists with us daily. It's not a concept that we sit around to discuss, because that is why we exist. So I think, and this is speaking for me from the background of the fact that in tech, you find out that the systems, the way they are built, whether they are built for enterprise users or individual consumers, are never really fully stable. There's rarely for you to have 100% uptime. And when you talk about the other side of the hats that I wear, you talk about the startup community. So I lead the board of a community of currently over 200 innovation hubs. And you know what innovation hubs do? They basically support startups. And what startups are usually people that have ideas that they come together to decide to build up into some business. And one of the key distinguishing factors between startups and MSMEs is that they typically try to leverage things like technology to scale very fast. And doing that is a different kettle of fish. When you try to find an idea that is usually not normal or innovative idea, and you want to build it and scale it very fast, you're contending with all the things that we talked about today in the previous panel, in the real world, but you're now contending with beyond Nigeria and its environment and the global issues. You're now contending with even the fact that the idea you have, you're not sure if it really means anything. So this is not traditional business circles or settings, and being able to maneuver through such and succeed is actually living in the sea of VUCA. So that is what it means to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's hear from you, please.
You're talking about VUCA?
Yes. What VUCA means for your organization? Yes.
My name is Ike Edwin. You can always call me Ike. For me, what it means to me is disruption. It's as simple as that. In the cage where we fight, because business is war. So if there is no war, we create war. So disruption is business. If you allow things to run wrong, so I'm surprised everybody is talking about VUCA. It's disruption. We disrupt businesses to create other kinds of solutions. Because we don't allow things to be normal. When they are normal, they become traditional. They become uninterpreted. They become not futuristic. So if you want to know what VUCA is, try the method that Harvard is implementing today on entrepreneurship. They said they want to use the ego way to board entrepreneurs. if I'm talking to the ones who want to start businesses, the thing is, are you ready to be patient with the disruptions? And are you humble to be able to accommodate it? That's what it is.
Okay, so I think I'd like to couch. Thank you. I like the word you use, disruption. Okay, but as usual, I'd like to break that down. Okay, how do we cause disruption? And I think that disruption happens when you have a mindset of continuous improvement.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you might be thinking, because when they tell you think out of the box, you probably wonder how do you do that, But you find that whenever there's a pain point, that's an opportunity to fashion a solution, because that pain point means everybody has created a solution for that problem. And so it automatically makes you, a problem-solving mindset makes you automatically innovative and automatically disruptive. So once a better solution is born, you're automatically disrupting the current situation. Okay? Remember floppy drive? Before floppy drives, you have these hard diskettes. Then floppy drives. Today we're talking about USB sticks. Okay? We've forgotten about our VHS and Betamax, video cassettes. Okay? We've forgotten about Blockbuster. We're now doing Netflix, downloading, movies. So that's disruption. And it happened because people were continuously improving the situation.
Just like what happened. So there are two sides of it. Who is feeling the heat and who is benefiting. So what Flutter Wave, all of those guys have done to the traditional banks is disrupt the system.
Absolutely. But
they didn't like the peace that they were enjoying.
Exactly.
So they created their own.
Exactly. Which is what is happening with OPay and money points. Okay, because there was a pain point somewhere which they feel. So the reason I'm breaking it down to say it's a mindset of continuous improvement that pushes disruption is for us to understand that, because if you go with disruption, or you might be thinking, well, how do I disrupt? But if you're thinking about what is not working so well today, then it's easy for it to cause disruption. Okay? And if you go back to what you were saying earlier about young people with ideas, finding it difficult to know what their thinking is relevant, you're going to find that it is only those who are thinking in terms of creating value that end up automatically having a relevant product. Of course, you must test it, because maybe you want to create value in some way, but you haven't got it right. Okay? So you keep testing, you keep refining and all of that. Okay? And the other thing, of course, is the fact that techies need management knowledge. So it's one thing for you to be a fantastic app developer, and it's an organization, because what your app is now being demanded, you have many resources. You can't do it in so it's matching your tech knowledge with so let's go to you, Obi. So for you, what is disruption in the cage where you fight, like you said?
What's VUCA, right?
Yes.
I'll start there.
Okay,
But to Ike's point, completely aligned. I think in the tech startup world, VUCA is more of a favorable environment for the startup. Right? So it's interesting watching VUCA. Watching the speakers are talking about it here, and it feels to me like if you think about large corporate organizations in other more traditional sectors, right? Their perception of VUCA will be more. Cautious, or they'll be more concerned. But where I come from in the tech startup ecosystem, VUCA is required for tech startups to try and scale fast. Talk about money management, and a lot of other tech startups around the world. It's the opportunities that VUCA creates because of and there are too many things really that in my own opinion. One is like one of the speakers said, interconnectedness, right? Global, which means information can travel very quickly. As opposed to can respond very quickly. And then the pace of technology change. The technology changes faster, leading to more capabilities that can be used to create more value for clients, which will now change consumer expectations as speakers and so on. All this is moving fast. And so if you look at the technology change problem, you see that tech startups are part of even contributing to do that. Yes, so the
That's what's driving VUCA actually.
Yes, so the disruption created by tech companies and tech startups helps to drive VUCA by introducing new capabilities, new value, new solutions, changing customer behavior in ways that other organizations who may not be aligned with that capability will perceive it as, wow, things that he has changed and things that might not be favorite. Yes. So that's it's a very natural place for people like us. Yes, that's yeah.
Alright, so in a sense I'm trying to break this down for everybody because you guys are all techies and you're tending to go in the tech direction. But if you ask me, I find that as I was explaining when I spoke, that VUCA is triggered when somebody comes up with a better solution than what exists originally. And the way you come up with a solution that's better than what exists originally is because you're thinking about how to make what exists better. What are the pain points I still have with this solution? Okay? So here we are in Africa, we have the sun, and yet we're only focusing on petrol. Okay? So suddenly, those who provide solar solutions are going to be millionaires. Why? Because people are going to move to a more affordable and sustainable option. They won't stay with the more expensive option. Okay? Today, Innocent, just going away from the tech space a bit, is doing CNG buses and electric cars. He didn't think about this before the fuel crisis that we're now experiencing. Okay? So it's really about observing pain points. So I'm going to ask you each to go a bit deeper into the sort of solutions you come up with in your various spaces. So I know you're all tech people, but I guess you're doing different things. So for instance, I mean, you are running around 200 innovation hubs. So to start with, you created jobs, for those people, okay, and many of them probably earning jobs as well remotely, apart from the solution that you're selling. So maybe you want to tell us a bit more about what's going on in your space.
Okay, just to first of all provide clarity, I don't run 200 innovation hubs, but I won't be sitting here. Yeah, so I think in 2019, 75 innovation hubs across Nigeria came together and formed what we call ISN, which is a national network of innovation hubs. Since 2019 till date, that network has grown from 75 to 207 across 30 states of Nigeria. And I currently chair the board of that organization. So these are distinct organizations owned by different individuals or corporates who are in the business of supporting innovation and developing talent. So I will answer your question by delving into the area of talent because it is something that plagues all of us. Either you have unemployed youth or restive youth across the different parts of where you come from, or you need talent in your respective organizations to build, or you need them to come study at the university, develop new knowledge, commercialize intellectual property, and so on. The fact is that between December 2020, Nigeria's unemployment rate has moved from about 30%, which was even the time when we got the statistic of 30%, we thought the skies had come down. But today, I think I'll put that figure above or between 40 and 50%, 40 and 45%. And the worst part is even the fact that even for those that are employed in the last 12 to 18 months are not, I don't know if I can say they are gainfully, I don't know what percentage is now gainfully employed. So part of the work that I do and have done over the past few years is developing talent, but not the traditional way. If you, one of the lives I live is in the corporate tech sector, and there's another sector that they call the tech ecosystem. I am privileged to have a foot in the door on each side. So what do I mean? If you talk to the big companies like the banks, the energy companies, there are different groups of tech organizations that support them. Some are providing them more of enterprise solutions, and the others are providing more innovative type solutions. And sometimes they require different skill sets. So if you see a lot of the talent programs that are going on in the country today, and we do have a lot of those conversations, you will find out that whilst you have like a program, a national program, for instance, 3MTT, targeting 3 million tech talent, a lot of the skills they are developing people for are not exactly the same tech skills a lot of the enterprise organizations would require. Now, fast forward to between a continent like Africa, which has most of the young population and most of the unemployed population as well, and a continent like Europe, which you have a very aging population and very minimal, most of the population there is within 5 and 10 million or less. They have a lot of high intellectual or innovative organizations, potential large employers, but very minimal talent to build. Whilst we sit here talking about unemployment and talent, they sit over there talking about the lack of the right talent and how that is an impediment to building or scaling their businesses. So I'm talking about companies like Nokia, Ericsson, and Co., and many others, even the Volvos, the car companies have migrated from being mechanical companies to more electrical and digital, because driverless cars, a lot of artificial intelligence placed in those cars, they are needing more and more tech talent. So one of the things we must realize, and it came out in the first panel where we talked a little bit about, or heard a little bit about the fact that when you hear VUCA or disruption, or if you think negative, you miss the point. When at Nigeria and the statistics I read out earlier, all I see is opportunity. And I talked about the dichotomy between the two tech sectors, and I see the way they approach it a bit differently, and that's the point I'll try to make. For the more corporate businesses, which Obi had referred to, you will see that they tend to see VUCA as something that they can protect themselves against, plan around, train for. The other side of the divide is like, that's where they want to dive in, which is why I say, this is like, wow. So there are 40% unemployed people. That's what they are showing on their slides. That's why they're looking to raise money. That's why people are listening to them. This is how we can do it. And bring it context, because I also noticed this room, there are a few corporate people. There were also quite a lot of HR inclined people, and I want to say that a lot of the potential solutions, growth potentials for a country like Nigeria is in being able to bring together or break or close the gap between how these two sets of organizations are thinking. I would end with an example. Is there any CIO in the room? From a corporate, is there any CIO in the room? Is there any leader in maybe a bank, an oil and gas company who is in HR? I know there are some. Okay, my point is this. If you talk to them, you will find out that they are always looking for a specific type of talent, year in, year out. Those type of talent are trained and they're to leave the country. They continue to seek different kinds of employment. They continue to charge higher. But when you tell them, you know what, there's this EdTech that can solve your problems to ensure that every time you need 10, 20, 30 talent in this space, and you're planning to grow, you're not figuring out how to solve the problem. You're buying 2 tickets to move from Port Harcourt to Lagos, but you know that we can actually track using probability, AI and tools and figure out what are the best ways for me to get there. And these are the kind of things startups are thinking about. Are you willing to invest or support the growth of those startups to be able to build and solve the problems and enable you? That's what we call corporate innovation, enabling you to innovate even outside and within of the organization. So those organizations they find it very difficult to adapt. They will continue protecting instead of embracing, just like most of us with tech. and the fact we talked about unemployment rates, where technology disrupts and then people begin to think they are losing their jobs. That's an opportunity to embrace those potential skills and enable you to scale and grow whatever it is you're building. So I think I'll stop here for now.
Okay, right. Thank you so much for that. And I'm sure the audience will agree with me that it's a question of educating the companies. I don't think they see it the way you do. What you're saying makes a lot of sense. But you'll find that most people resist making payments for what they don't understand that they need. And I think it's really about the IT industry educating the other enterprise or corporate-minded people to understand that this is your way forward. I mean, we have to do the same at the school, because people just think, well, yes, you're expensive. I will say to them, if you're growing and you need managers and leaders, you have no choice but to invest in training your staff. And then they begin to see that, oh wow, it's true, we need it. So maybe people just need to be educated as to the importance of investing in tech talent. And I think some banks are already doing that, but not all of them. So maybe we should hear from you, Ike, what's going on in your space in terms of how are you going about this? What solutions are you providing? What trends are you experiencing in your space, given that you're excited with the VUCA environment? How are you embracing it?
Like I said earlier, it's fun.
Yeah, so what are you guys doing?
So let me tell you a bit about my industry, because I have been in the energy oil and gas industry for almost 2 years. So at some point, the banks
You want to speak microphone?
sorry, I thought my voice was loud. So the banks have stopped funding. Apparently, if you meet them, they say, oh, our oil and gas portfolio is full. And the reason for that is that they don't even understand the business. So they thought it was a traditional lending business, because they've always looked at everything from the trade point of view. Oil and gas is a different thing. It's something that requires you time. Even planning a project alone can be a lot of work. So they come at this end where they say, tell me what you need. So somebody needs a contract from Mr. Chairman. Then, $20 million. How much do you require to do this contract? So I require $10 million. And boom, they will make the loan just because it's cheaper, because it's a grant. They will avail the loan. But the guy who is managing this company has no competence in financial management. So over time, we find out that most of those loans have gone back. And they were mad. Oh, we don't want to do it again. So you have used the same brush to paint everybody, which is wrong. So what we did was, we loved it, because it gave room to people like us who will come with an innovative mindset, which we are trying with other clients. Okay, what's your problem? Oh, you see, we have this field we cannot develop. Just like the gentleman said, pipelines are broken and is now badging and they're still having problems with logistics. That is his vocal word. That is what is going on. But there is still opportunity. Right? So what we did was, if you have this, it's going to cost you maybe, let us do the competitive bidding. So everybody will quote and maybe it's $30 million job. And we said, how much can you bring? But because we are, like you said, you are giving me that honor. Thank you, solution providers. Because we know the job. And one of the things you have to know is that most people start business without going through apprenticeship. That's the problem that we have in Nigeria. They don't want to go to apprenticeship. Everybody, my friends, they oh, I'm needing this. So they are looking at the end result. I will come. Bring me those books. I have something I'm going to introduce, just in case you want to start business. Bring me those books. They don't tell you what the middle mess is. What is the mess you have encountered from the time you started to where you are now? Somebody needs to tell you. Somebody needs to tell you that I can go to come to your office to see you, and you can keep me for a whole 8 hours, and I'll be there waiting. And then you come out, you don't even apologize. You don't have the patience to endure it, and the secretary will come out and say, no, you can come back tomorrow by 10, and by 9:30 you are there. The tech people don't have that kind of patience. They just want to do everything on their phone. So if you're operating in my own environment, you need patience. You need humility. You need endurance. Hello? I'm not in the church. Am I missing the point?
No. It's a very strong point.
You need all of that. So, I am an old school. So, I had always say, if you are not in social, I don't even have social media. I don't even know how Instagram operates. I've not had any Facebook. I don't even know how. But it's a good thing. So the banks have stopped funding. Apparently, if you meet them, they say, oh, our oil and gas portfolio is full. And the reason for that is that they don't even understand the business. So they thought it was a traditional lending business because they've always looked at everything from the trade point of view. But oil and gas is a different kettle of fish. It's something that requires you time. Even planning a project alone can be a whole lot of headache. So they come at this end where they say, tell me what you need. So somebody wins a contract from maybe Chevron for them for $20 million. How much do you require to do this contract? So I require 10 million. And boom, they make the loan just because it's Chevron, because it's a brand. They will avail the loan to you. But the guy who is managing this company has no competence in financial management. So over time, you find out that most of those loans have gone bad. And they were mad. Oh, we don't want to do it again. So you have used the same brush to paint everybody, which is wrong. So what we did was, we loved it because it gave room to people like us who will come with an innovative mindset, which we are trying with other clients. Okay, you know what? What's your problem? Oh, you see, we have this field, we cannot develop it. Just like the gentleman said, pipelines are broken and is now badging and they are still having problem with that logistics. That is his vocal word now. That is what is going on. But there is still opportunity. All right. So what we did was say to him, if you have this view, it's going to cost you maybe, let us do the competitive bidding. So everybody will quote and maybe it's $30 million job. And we say, okay, fine. How much can you bring? But because we are, like you said, you have given that honor. Thank you, solution providers. Because we know the job. And one of the things you have to know is that most people start business without going through apprenticeship. That's the problem that we have in Nigeria. They don't want to go to apprenticeship. Everybody, my friends here, I'm needing this. So they are looking at the end result. I will come. Bring me those books. I have something I'm going to introduce, just in case you want to start business. Bring me those books. They don't tell you what the middle mess is. What is the mess you have encountered from the time you started to where you are now? Somebody needs to tell you. Somebody needs to tell you that I can go to come to your office to see you, and you can keep me for a whole 8 hours, and I'll be there waiting. And then you come out, you don't even apologize. You don't have the patience to enjoy it, and the secretary will come out and say, no, you can come back tomorrow by 10, and by 9:30 you are there. The tech people don't have that kind of patience. They just want to do everything on their phone. So if you're operating in my own environment, you need patience. You need humility. You need endurance. Hello? I hope we're not in the church. Am I missing the point?
It's a very strong point.
You need all of that.
That's the real word.
So I am an old school. So I had always say, if you're not in social, I don't even have social media. I don't even know how Instagram operates. I've not had any Facebook. I don't even know how. But it's a good thing. Probably I don't need this so much in my environment because I don't need things that occupy my mind. My mind is made in China. If I go into any place where they play loud music, that loud music will play in my mind for 10 days. So I like to protect my mind because that's where I make decisions. Okay? And I make delicate decisions. You can imagine taking up a project and somebody says, hey, I'm going to do this project for $20 million and I don't have the money. I'm expecting you to mobilize the field, drill me the oil, produce it, and let us start selling oil and start paying you. Hello? Those were the things that the banks were doing, and they cannot do it. And you're looking eye in the eye to do it. And you think that's a small decision to make. I'm going to have to come down and look at all the parameters, not fully. That is my disruptive method. So we have come up with a financing solution by pulling vendors together, which one what we call the vendor finance system. So you have to pass through the 4-quadrant system of our own type. How we do things in the oil industry. Now, everybody is leaving. Exxon is leaving. Where's our auntie here? Shell has divided, they are leaving. They are all dumping the assets on you. And then your bank does not have the capacity to finance the project. What are you going to do? To leave your hydrocarbon without producing it? They've made all their money. Now they say it's renewable energy. Renewable what? That's nonsense. And that is the only thing we have to get foreign revenue. So they are trying to distract or discourage us. It's for us to rise up to the occasion. So now we are finding other ways of financing. So for instance, you have a vessel, you sell chemical. So we put everybody together and say, look, we'll have a project here. Rather than going to the bank to borrow the money. So we create the number of days. We have to look at, okay, this project is going to be for a period of 180 days. This is how your payment will be done. You that own the field, bring 20%. So we put funds to put our resources together because we have to survive. Because this now is our own VUCA. This is our own year today. And if you think it's going to go, we just got started. That's how the energy industry. So we have to find a way. So for us, it's fun. It's fun because the more we face those challenges and conquer them, the more strong we become.
Right. So I'll just put what you have just said now in management parlance. Okay?
You know, I didn't go to school very
No, don't worry. Just like you said, everybody's bringing their own to the table. Okay? So what you said is very beautiful. And you remind me of when I decided my PhD. And everything I told my supervisor, she said, oh, this is the school of thought. And I'm thinking, please, I'm just saying what is in my head. I don't know what you mean by school of thought, you know. But basically, I mean, these are business school candidates, so you have to see the business side. But it also helps you because at the end of the day, it is a problem that has birthed that innovative business model. Okay? If that problem didn't exist, you wouldn't think of financing in this creative way that you have just described to us. Okay? And even when you were speaking about resilience, humility, you know, those are the soft issues. So if, I don't know if they recall, but there are like 4 things I tell people that you need to have for you to be successful, whether in business or in life. And it starts with the first thing you mentioned about competence, okay, knowing your onions. You may not know social media, but you don't need to know everything. First of all, you're a leader, you just need to have staff. So if somebody in your team is good with social media, you don't have to be social media gurus, okay? Even though I would still encourage you to go in there, it doesn't bite, you know? And people need your wisdom because you are spewing out wisdom. Because once you have experience, you have to give back to society. You spoke about apprenticeship, that's what it is, okay? So if you didn't have the problem, you would have gone with that model. And then the soft issues actually, many times, make or break the harder issues. So no matter how good you are at a job, if you didn't have that humility, people will want to work with you. They don't want to collaborate with you. Okay? If you don't have that patience, then you won't even win the contract in the first place. So we start with skills, competence, then we look at values, talk to your values, and that's where what you're talking about comes in, okay? The humility, the attitude. And then say, what value are you offering? Obviously, you want to do something positive. Like we all say, the multinationals are leaving. It's an opportunity for us to rise up to the occasion, okay? And of course, character, again, informed by your values. You're patient enough to say, these are my strengths and my weaknesses. How do I look at my weaknesses, okay? So again, it goes back to the fact that technical skills are not sufficient. You need to have management skills. So it's a marriage of the two for you to run a successful business, okay? All great insights. Thank you so much. Let's go to Ruby.
Thank you very much. I think I will just start by saying the one nice way to think about it is you can either be on the receiving side of VUCA or on the giving side. You can be a victim or you can be part of the source of VUCA. Right? So for us, I think we've been fortunate enough to be more of the source of the VUCA than the victim. I mean, I'll give a few examples. We launched way back, one of our first products was to provide software platform for financial institutions run the operations. So not the big banks, microfinance, fintech, and the smaller banks. At that time, we had a lot of other vendors who were sort of deploying.
Can you hear him?
So who were deploying like, single instances, like so you buy the stuff, they come and install it for you, but it's expensive and it's not connected to the rest of the industry. So what we did was, at that time, the whole concept of cloud computing was new. So I think it is important to adopt new technology. So we said, okay, why don't we create one system that can be hosted on the cloud, something that you rent instead of buy, right? So like pay per use, so you don't have to go and screw those guys. And then we connect that thing to the other banks and the other payment ecosystem, right? And it's cheaper but better, and it was interesting because that solution spread today. That platform is a leading platform solution for other financial institutions that are not banks. I can imagine how the service providers previously did that. I don't know them or where they are now, but obviously that change would have been a good to them. They just noticed that their clients, because they're calling them and say, I'm passing my contract. And that's what it's like. I think another one that's very obvious is this whole idea where you know your debit card, right? You go to a bank and you ask for a debit card. Previously, you would request for a debit card and you come back after 2 weeks. During that period, there's a whole process. You take the card and physical plastic card to a company who will make your card, like put your details on it and all that, cheap and stuff. And then it's a pretty good. Let's do an end-to-end process where you can not just come to a branch and get kind of use a kiosk-like device working, but your account details go to an OTP, bunch of reports and card. So the empty cards are preloaded, right? So you get the time you don't have to do bank now. And so that's widespread now. I mean, you can do it in the branch. I'm sure most banks, as you know now, it's rare to see a bank where you go and ask for a card and to come back to the report. So the companies that did the previous thing would perceive that change as different.
Yes.
Because they're like, after what's happening, that's not requesting services anymore. And that's huge revenue loss.
Yeah.
As well as the final one that I'm doing now, with Russia, using blockchain to facilitate payments, right? The traditional payment network architectures, the other banks, financial institutions, they have a legal entity that connects all of them. To one segment from one bank, one segment from another, and they have to connect to this central entity, can now forward the transaction to whoever the destination bank is. What we do on the blockchain is, okay, why do you need this entity? Why can't everybody connect to everybody else? Right? So rather than what is called the star or hub and spoke network, instead it's a connection. Everybody is connected to everybody. Who is blockchain network? It's cheaper, it's faster, it's better, right? Less failure from translation, so many things. But I can imagine that the organization will typically provide that kind of
intermediary service.
You feel like you can do that because what's happening with the government changing all that. So I mean, what I'm making is, I think back to the point I made, I think I just made as well is, from our own type of standpoint, it's more like you can be the source of the VUCA, or you can be a victim. And I think in running a business, even as the founder or the leader, and even public, large public, as I was speaking about last week, I was speaking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA started as a company providing chips for graphics. Today, NVIDIA is known for AI. They're leading AI, pivoted company. So for me, I think whether you start from big